My name is John O'Mara. I'm an assistant professor of physics here at St. Michael's College. Cosmology attempts to answer two questions. The first question is, what is the universe made out of? The second question is, how does that change with time? And that's it. My particular niche in cosmology is to try to figure out how galaxies form. A galaxy is a collection of stars. It's just a crude term for a collection of stars which are bound together by gravity. So the best example for that is our galaxy, the Milky Way. We have to look very far back and try to figure out what was happening with galaxies when they were very young. So how do we look back in time? Light has a finite speed. Light doesn't go from one point to another infinitely fast. If the nearest star to us, other than the sun, blew up, we wouldn't know for 4 years. So when we take a telescope and we point it at that star, we're seeing that star as it was 4 years ago. We need to look at objects which are farther and farther and farther away, because that's looking farther and farther back in time. So what we really want to do is look at galaxies which are billions of light years away. Because by looking at those galaxies, we can understand what our galaxy was like billions and billions of years ago. And the way that I do that is through a tool called spectroscopy. Spectroscopy is basically what happens when you take light and break it up into its constituent colors. Light comes in, it's white light, hits the prism, gets spread out, becomes all the different colors of the rainbow. The sun, the earth, all of the interstellar material, all the gas and dust that goes into forming stars, all that is atoms. And atoms emit and absorb light. And that's how we see stars and planets and all these things. Say hydrogen, the most common atom in the universe. Hydrogen makes light at only very specific colors. So if you were to take the light from a star that was made entirely out of hydrogen and pass it through a prism, you wouldn't see a rainbow of colors. You'd see a bright bit here at red, bright bit at green, and a couple of bright bits at blue. So that's spectroscopy. By looking at the colors that we get from an object on a very, very fine scale, we can figure out what that object's made out of. And in some aspects of cosmology, you get to spend your time looking at beautiful pictures all day. Pictures from the Hubble Space Telescope, and you say, oh, these are wonderful. I spend most of my day looking at a bunch of squiggly lines on a screen. But I can take some solace in the fact that even though I'm looking at a bunch of squiggly lines on the screen, each one of those squiggly lines is a gas cloud which will collapse and form 100 billion stars and a galaxy like our own. So it's kind of boring to look at, but very fun to think about.